Good evening from Washington, D.C.
Good evening from Washington, D.C. Yes. What will we expect from President Trump's speech tonight?
Well, yes, we are just minutes away from the speech where President Donald Trump will address a joint session of Congress and the American people. This is his first major speech since his inauguration last month, and President Trump is expected to talk about his budget priorities for the coming year, including a big boost in defense spending, about $54 billion, in addition to the current defense spending of around $600 billion. This is already the biggest in terms of military spending in the world, and likely to be offset by cuts in foreign aid programs as well as domestic spending. The address itself is titled Renewal of the American Spirit and will primarily be about economic and opportunity and protecting the American people. This is, of course, in line with his America First sentiment that is often stated by the president. The president is also expected to talk about his tax cuts, immigration, as well as the replacement of Obamacare, which is a piece of legislation that allowed millions of Americans access to health care, which the Republicans have promised to repeal and replace. Now, while there may be some foreign policy elements in the address, administration officials say they do not expect specific countries to be mentioned, but President Trump may provide a justification for pulling out of the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership, which was a comprehensive trade deal that took years to negotiate and was led for the most part by Washington and Tokyo.
Okay. What about the opposition's response? How are they expected to react?
Yes, the Democrats are expected to deliver their response after the speech, and there will be two responses. The first one is from former Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear, which will highlight his successful implementation as governor of Kentucky, Republican state Kentucky, of Obamacare. So this is, of course, something that the Democrats want to highlight in terms of keeping this legislation in place rather than having it be repealed by Republicans. A second response will also be delivered by immigration activist Astrid Silva, who will deliver the response in Spanish. This is, of course, to hit back at President Trump's controversial orders limiting immigration. And Silva also said that in a statement that President Trump would have people believe that all immigrants are criminals and that refugees are terrorists. But like my family, the vast majority of immigrants and refugees came to this country looking for a better life, and we contribute every day to this nation. So the other thing that we could look forward to is also that members of Congress usually invite particular guests to the speeches to make a political statement. Now, multiple Democratic members of Congress have announced their intention to bring immigrants with them to the speech, as well as Muslims and other groups who feel rebuked by the president's policies.
Okay. Well, regarding the issue of immigration, how do the Indonesian diaspora feel about this immigration policy?
Well, to be frank, right now the Indonesian diaspora feels very concerned and somewhat threatened. If we look at Indonesian embassy data, there are about 125,000 Indonesians who are registered here in this country. The actual number may be much more than that, and we actually don't know how many of them are illegal. We know that many Indonesians come to the U.S. on tourist visas and then overstay, and by and large, these people, especially the ones who are undocumented, they are living in fear right now, especially after President Trump's directive to expand deportations of undocumented immigrants. As we know, President Obama focused on deporting illegal immigrants who are criminals or who have ties to terrorism, but President Trump's directive seemed to be more broad, targeting anyone who are here illegally, and the estimates are around 11 million of them. President Trump's orders are also calling on quick deportations of any undocumented immigrants across the country. Anyone who cannot prove that they have been here in the U.S. for 2 consecutive years could be put into the deportation proceedings immediately. And as a response, the Indonesian embassy has opened a hotline to provide support and information for Indonesian undocumented immigrants who need help should they become targeted by deportation proceedings.
All right. Thank you very much for your report. That is VOA's Patsy Widakuswara reporting from the Washington, D.C. Thank you very much.